Hello everyone and welcome to What the Math. This is Anton and today I'm going to be talking about what I think are or were the top space games of 2015. Now, these games may have been released earlier in early access and may have been actually officially released even earlier than that, but sometime in 2015 they've had a major update that made them absolutely incredible and you should definitely give them a try. Now the first game we're going to talk about is actually a game that was originally released in 1999, so it's actually over 16 years old. And the game I'm talking about is of course Homeworld Remastered. Now, Homeworld was the most advanced space strategy game when it came out in the days, and it changed the way real strategies were played and has now been reworked completely to inspire a new generation of players. This new version was released back in February of 2015, and this game features vibrant graphics, great music, sound effects. It's super exciting and it has really challenging gameplay. And each of the ships in this game have been completely reworked. They were made much better than before. Each fight and mission have now also been revamped to make them more interesting for players that actually have played this game before. And the story in this game is actually pretty simple. You play as Pride of Higara, the ship carrying the last remains of humanity, and your job is to use this home base to create other ships, to create more ships that can either be used to harvest or destroy, and all of this is done in full 3 dimensions. The game is absolutely brilliant, and even today you must totally try it if you haven't played it yet. Game number 2 is Galactic Civilization 3. If you prefer to play your games at a slower pace and love spending hours organizing each of your turns, this is a must for you. In the old tradition of Civilization games, this is one of the most famous and most successful space strategy games of today, mostly due to the previous installments that made a huge cult following. Now, not so much an overhaul of the previous game, GalCiv III is more of a refinement, removing a lot of annoyances from previous games and making it easier to manage an empire without sacrificing the depth of gameplay. So for example, the economy screen has now been simplified into a sphere where you can change the priorities with a simple click and do so for your entire empire or just individual planets. There's also a lot of new random events that have been added, making this game a lot more fun and unpredictable to play, and that's on top of new resources, buildings, and even ideologies for each of the race that play an important role in every game. All in all, for any fan of 4X games, and that's of course explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate games, this is the best there is, so go and get it right now. The third game on the list is Galak-Z. Now, I grew up on old Macross anime that features awesome space fights and of course transformable space planes that would turn into awesome destructible or destructive mecha. And this game is essentially it wants me to relive my childhood by throwing me into a galaxy where I play as the last survivor of my race, controlling a ship that slowly grows in power and becoming that awesome mecha. Each mission is challenging and procedurally generated, and each offers an amazing array of enemies to destroy, along with excellent special effects, music, sound, and overall atmosphere. But the most enjoyable part of the game is of course the space battles, and they are really fun in comparison to many other games I wanted to put on this list. Number 4 on the list is Rebel Galaxy. Now, this is an exciting space adventure set in a beautiful universe with an unusual third perspective that creates an opportunity for some really exciting space battles. And the story here is pretty simple. Your aunt left you a present. It's a ship called Rasputin. This begins the storyline in the game, and know that you don't have to follow it. You may want to consider following the story because it's fully voiced and the characters have an amazing, incredible animation. There's lots of humor that may actually give you enough reason to try to complete this game. And what I really personally enjoy in this game is the fact that the spacecraft design here is sort of similar to a ship simulation games where your strongest weapons are actually on your side. So moving broadside is beneficial and requires you to strategize each of your battles. So if you would love to play a marine adventure but set in a spaceship mode with a bit of a space cowboy setting as well, or if you actually enjoy TV shows like Serenity, this game is for you because you're basically the space cowboy. Number 5 on the list may be a little bit controversial and contradictory, but I needed to put it here because I love this game. Elite Dangerous Horizons. Now, this is an expansion pack that was released very recently, and despite its expensive price tag, definitely deserves to be on the list. This ridiculously complex galaxy simulator puts you as one of the pilots in a realistically recreated network of solar systems, with every star holding mysteries, quests, friends, and foes. But also, of course, an ability to land on various planets using the newly added expansion called Horizons. This makes things so much more interesting, as you can now also drive a space buggy on the surface of billions, and that's billions with 9 zeros, of planets, and initiate planetary battles with your friends or against the NPCs. Each action of every player also influences the universe, as various empires try to battle it out and conquer the galaxy. The choices and paths in the game are tremendously overwhelming, but this is what makes it so great, as you're essentially thrown into a universe that's living and breathing without your interference, and you can definitely try to create a name for yourself if you try hard enough. Next on the list is Space Engineers. Now, this game has been around for some years now, but this year it had a major update. This update is called Planets. If you've never played it before, imagine Minecraft, but instead of houses and mines, you build spaceships that can fly around doing what you would normally do in Minecraft, killing and mining. Unfortunately, there are no mobs in the game yet, but you're usually meant to play against other players anyway, so the new addition of planets makes it so much more interesting and more complicated. So if you fancy yourself a creative builder, give this game a try. The physics engine in this game allows for ship-realistic collisions that result in some spectacular scenes of destruction, and of course spectacular space battles as well. But you can now also take it to various planets with fully destructible environments, and of course you can mine things on the planet and turn them into your mines. There's also a cult following with lots of different mods available, so give Space Engineers a try. And of course, the last and the most important game ever is Kerbal Space Program. Now, this game obviously has been around for a while, but it was officially released in version 1.0 in 2015, so this is why this game is the last and the most important on the list. And this is, of course, the biggest game, and of course, the most important in my opinion. And that's, of course, because the game encourages a new generation of space enthusiasts and has created a colossal cult following around the world. This is the only game produced by this small Mexican team called Squad, and is essentially the manifestation of the dream I've had as a child. When I was younger, I loved making spaceships using Legos and pretending I was sending them to various planets and various solar systems. This is exactly what this game does, but to an extent never before seen in gaming. Kerbal Space Program won the 2015 Best Indie Game and will probably continuously be on a top game to play list for years to come. With the amount of new mods available, you can essentially change this game entirely, making it fit your own needs. From the mods that make it extremely easy to play to the mods that essentially make it a NASA simulator with the little green frog people instead of humans. This game is all about challenge, and it's all about a personal conquest and a competition against yourself. So if you fancy yourself a true gamer, get this game and try to achieve the ultimate goal for every Kerbalite, a so-called Grand Tour. This is where you take a spaceship and fly through the entire solar system, landing on every planet in the same spacecraft on the first try. Good luck, and in the words of Scott Manley, fly safe. And of course we have a few honorable mentions as well, and this is games that I just couldn't really put as the top games of 2015 for one reason or another, but they needed to be mentioned anyway, and one of the mentions is of course EVE Online. This game is not really a 2015 release and it's been around since 2003, but it deserves to be here because it's a top space game of all time. I believe it needs no introduction or explanation, but if you've never played EVE, now is a good time to try it, as there is an excellent entry package that allows you to get all of the expansions, and there were quite a lot of these expansions this year alone. This game is constantly changing and is so complex that no matter what you like, you'll probably be able to find it in this game. There's piracy, adventure, law enforcement, politics, exploration, mining, or simply building up your own empire, so you can pretty much do everything here. And despite a monthly fee, you can actually get so successful that not only will you play for free, but you'll actually make a monthly stipend and essentially make real money from the game. And another game I wanted to talk about is Rodina. Is it Rodina or Rodina? I'm not sure. This is not the best looking game out there, and it's definitely an acquired taste, but having played this game for a few hours, I have to say that this is actually a pretty awesome space game. It basically allows you to be a part of a space simulation exploration game and puts you in charge of a lot of things at once. And in this game, you can basically travel to any asteroid, any planet, without any loading screen, and there's quite a lot of really awesome things you can do. And of course, there are aliens to kill as well, and it's all kind of fun, challenging challenging and exciting, but can be done in so many different ways. For example, defeating aliens doesn't mean you can just shoot them. You can also just disable one of the systems on their craft that will make them suffocate, or you can release deadly gas on their spacecraft that will obviously kill them as well. You can also hack in this game. You can cause irreparable damage to ships in a variety of ways. And there's of course a first-person perspective where you can basically explore the spaceships or the planets. And the reason why I couldn't really put this on the list is because it was technically released last year, actually at the end of the last year, and also because it's still in early access, so it hasn't actually been officially finished yet. But nevertheless, this game has some really amazing ideas, so it's worth checking out. And of course, the last honorable mention is the best honorable mention. This is a game that I really wanted to put in top 7, but I just couldn't force myself to do it because it is still in alpha. Alpha 18 specifically, as of December 2015. And the game I'm talking about is, of course, Universe Sandbox 2. Or is it Universe Sandbox Squared? I don't know. Nobody knows. I think some people know, but maybe we'll find out one day. Anyway, Universe Sandbox Squared or 2 is essentially what any space enthusiast needs. You create planets, you create solar systems, you create galaxies, and then you destroy them and watch the beautiful effects as you do it. This is essentially a space simulator that merges everything together into one beautiful creation that I wouldn't really call a game because it doesn't really have a storyline or characters, but it is a sandbox, and it does allow you to explore the universe and the galaxy and the solar system in your own sort of way. It's also a game that I spent many hours using in various videos that I make on my channel, and so of course it is also one of my top played games ever. And so hopefully one day I'll be able to put this on the list of top games when it finally makes it to the final release. But as of now, of course, it's going to be the best honorable mention on this list, and is of course a must-have for anyone who loves space. And well, that's about it. Those are the honorable mentions and the top 7 games that I thought were worth talking about. There were quite a few games that didn't really make it to the list for one reason or another. And if you think there are some other games I should have added, please post it in the comments below. Other than that, I think this was a pretty exciting year to actually be a space game enthusiast, because we had so many awesome games that were released and made our life so much happier. And in one of the future videos, we're going to be talking about upcoming games in 2016 that will make our life even better. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, subscribe, like it, and share it with your friends. And as always, game you later, guys, and bye-bye.